the fanboy reskins, the meme gateway. Today, we're going down the rabbit hole of the bizarre. We're looking at the fan-made, the paranoid, the holy, and the straight-up illegal. This is Every Weird Linux Distro Explained. We start with the meme gateway. In the world of proprietary software like Windows, changing your icons is a chore. In Linux, the entire interface is just a costume called a desktop environment. This modularity allows anyone with a basic understanding of code to create digital shrines to pop culture. Take Hannah Montana Linux. It's based on Kubuntu, but every window is a jarring shade of pink, the icons are butterflies, and Miley Cyrus is permanently staring at you while you type commands. It's absurd, but it functions. Then there is Biberian, Justin Bieber Linux, and Rebecca BlackOS. While these look like jokes, Rebecca BlackOS was actually a technical pioneer. It was one of the first distros to successfully implement Wayland, a cutting-edge display protocol, years before the serious industry leaders did. It proves that in the open source world, even a meme can push the technical envelope forward. These distros aren't just for laughs. They are a masterclass in how Linux separates the soul of the OS from its body. The holier-than-thou distros. When faith meets the kernel, things get fascinating. Since Linux is built on the philosophy of freedom, different communities have used that freedom to bake their specific ideologies directly into the code. Ubuntu Christian Edition is the most prominent. It isn't just a wallpaper swap, it includes the Dan's Guardian web filtering engine to block content deemed sinful and features a Bible desktop that serves daily scriptures to the user. On the flip side, you have Sabali, formerly known as Ubuntu Muslim Edition. It comes preloaded with Islamic prayer time notifications, an encyclopedia of the Quran, and specialized Arabic language support right out of the box. This is a perfect example of digital sovereignty, the idea that your operating system should reflect your real-world values rather than the generic corporate standards of Silicon Valley. We also have the dark side with Ubuntu Satanic Edition, which uses heavy metal aesthetics and hellfire themes. Then there's the legendary TempleOS. While not technically a Linux distro, it's a custom 64-bit OS built from scratch by the late Terry Davis to be a third temple for God. It represents the absolute extreme of the obsessive developer, showing that for some, an OS is an extension of their spiritual life, the paranoid and invisible. If you're a whistleblower, a high-level journalist, or a cybercriminal, you don't want a pretty OS, you want to be a ghost. This is the world of privacy distros. The gold standard here is Tails, which stands for the Amnesic Incognito Live System. Tails is unique because it is designed to run entirely in your RAM, random access memory. Since RAM is volatile and loses all data when the power is cut, the moment you pull your USB stick, the OS and every single thing you did on it evaporates. There is no forensic footprint left on the hard drive. Every single connection in Tails is forced through the Tor network, masking your IP address behind 3 layers of global encryption. This is the exact tool Edward Snowden used to communicate with the press while evading the NSA. Then there is Kodachi, which takes it even further by including built-in VPNs, DNS encryption, and a panic room feature that nukes your entire session if you think you've been compromised. These aren't just weird projects, they are tools of digital warfare designed for people whose lives depend on staying invisible. In an age of total surveillance, these distros are the only way to truly vanish. The suicide and masochist distros. Some people play video games on hard mode. In the Linux community, there is a subculture that does that to their entire computer. The most infamous example is Suicide Linux. It's a social experiment disguised as a distro. It works exactly like a normal system, but there is one terrifying catch. If you type a single command wrong in the terminal, the system immediately executes rmrf. That is the command that deletes every single file on your hard drive. One typo, and your OS commits digital suicide. Then there is Gentoo, which isn't a joke, but is famous for being incredibly punishing for beginners. To install even a simple web browser, you have to compile it, meaning your computer builds the software from source code specifically for your processor. Why would anyone do this? Because it makes the software 5 to 10% faster and perfectly tailored to your hardware. It's like the difference between a store-bought suit and a bespoke, hand-tailored one. These distros teach system administration through trial by fire. If you can survive a week on Gentoo or a day on Suicide Linux, you understand the inner workings of a computer better than 99% of IT professionals. The time travelers. While the tech world obsesses over flat design and glass effects, some distros are stuck in the 90s on purpose. Q4OS is a fascinating example. It uses the Trinity desktop to look and feel exactly like Windows XP, but it has modern security patches running underneath. Then there is Chicago 9.5, a total conversion kit that makes Linux look so much like Windows 95 that you'd swear you were looking at a CRT monitor. This isn't just about nostalgia for the Start menu era, it's about legacy infrastructure. Thousands of factories, power plants, and scientific laboratories run specialized software that was written 30 years ago and only works with specific old-school interfaces. By using a retro Linux distro, these organizations can keep their multi-million-dollar machinery running while protecting it from modern internet threats. It also touches on user psychology. Many people find modern, minimalist, smartphone-style interfaces confusing and prefer the rigid, logical folder structures of the 1990s. These distros prove that new isn't always better, and sometimes the most efficient tool is the one that has remained unchanged for 3 decades. The government secrets. When a country decides it doesn't trust the United States, they build a national distro to achieve digital independence. The most notorious is North Korea's Red Star OS. It looks like a clone of macOS, but under the hood, it is a surveillance machine. The OS automatically watermarks every file on any USB drive plugged into it, allowing the government to track exactly who shared a pirated movie or a forbidden document. It even has its own custom antivirus that is actually designed to delete files the state deems subversive. Meanwhile, Russia has developed Astra Linux, which is hardened for military-grade use, and China has Kylin, which powers their fastest supercomputers. This is geopolitical tech. Most people don't realize that an operating system is a strategic asset. If a foreign company makes your OS, they could technically have a backdoor into your nuclear plants or banking systems. By building their own Linux forks, these nations can create walled gardens that they control entirely. However, as seen with Red Star OS, that independence often comes at the cost of the citizens' privacy. It's a fascinating look at how code is used as a weapon of both national defense and domestic control. The over-engineered, maximum security. Some distros are so weird that they don't even operate like a normal computer. CubesOS is the perfect example of security by isolation. Instead of running all your apps on one system, Cubes uses a bunker mentality. Every time you open a web browser or an email, Cubes creates a tiny, separate virtual machine just for that task. If you download a virus in your browser, it is trapped inside that tiny cube. It can't see your files or your passwords in the other windows. When you close the browser, the virtual machine is destroyed and the virus dies with it. It's like living in a house made of 100 separate concrete boxes. Another one is NixOS, which is immutable, meaning the system files cannot be changed while it's running. This makes the OS nearly impossible to break. This section shows the cutting edge of OS design, moving away from detecting viruses and moving toward unbreakable architecture. It's arguably the most secure way to use a computer today, but it requires a high level of technical knowledge to manage. It represents the future of high-security computing, where the system assumes it is already infected and manages that risk through architectural isolation. The graveyard. For every distro that survives, 100 others end up in the digital graveyard. Projects like BulgeonOS, a legendary scam from Russia where a teenager claimed he built a national OS that turned out to be just Ubuntu with different icons, show that Linux isn't just about code. It's about community. Without a dedicated group of maintainers to fix bugs and update drivers for new hardware, even the most beautiful or innovative distro will become vaporware. Many of the weirdest distros in history were the work of just one obsessive person. When that person gets bored, moves on, or passes away, the OS dies with them. This highlights the human element of technology. Linux is the ultimate playground for human creativity, but it is also a graveyard of failed ambitions. Whether they were jokes like Hannah Montana, Linux, or serious attempts at government surveillance, the fact that they existed at all proves that the operating system is a living, breathing piece of culture. So, which of these would you actually dare to install? Let me know in the comments.